Hi sewing friends, welcome to my sewing room. My name's Beth, and if you're new, welcome. Recently, one of my sewing room friends, Doris, sent me an unfinished baby quilt with some pretty pinwheel blocks and some embroidery. So I took this little quilt along with me on a recent camping trip, and I did some more embroidery, and I'm also going to show you how to make that really cute pinwheel block. Here's that pretty pinwheel with three different pinks, light, medium, and dark, and my quilt block will end up to be 7.5 inches before I put it in my quilt. To make my pinwheel block, I began with some 5-inch squares. I had two of those lighter pinks, one dark pink and one medium pink. I cut the two light in half, and the medium and dark I cut into 4 triangles. As I put these two smaller triangles together, I needed to make sure that they are going the same, that every pair that I sew together will be sewn together exactly the same way. It's kind of easy to get the two mixed up with the dark and the light. So to make the pinwheel turn out correctly, I need to sew those two smaller triangles together the same way. Then after sewing the two smaller triangles together, I just added them to that larger triangle, and after I put them all together, I will trim my little quilt blocks before I turn it into a pinwheel. I trimmed my little quilt blocks here to 4 inches before joining them into that pinwheel quilt block. These pink pinwheels are just beautiful, and I thought I'd show you the back of the quilt where the quilter hand-pieced all of these tiny triangles together, and she did an amazing job. This quilt did come all pieced together, but some of the embroidery was unfinished, and there were some empty squares that I wanted to add some embroidery. So this was a fun project to take along with me on a couple trips recently. Here are some of the blocks that had already been embroidered. I added some flowers to that little sheep. And here's one that I did using the same pattern. I was able to find the same pattern online for some of the other blocks. Here's one of the blocks that was unfinished, and I had to figure out how I was going to fill that block, and I'm going to show you that in just a minute. Here are those patterns I found online. This pattern is the pattern that was used many years ago, and here's another pattern that I thought might go along with that first one because I needed another design to add. So here's that block that was unfinished that I could not find a design for, so I replicated or copied that bird and I added some more flowers, and I think it turned out just fine. It kind of goes along with what had already been started in that quilt block. Doing this embroidery is sort of like coloring with thread. It was fun to try to find the threads that I was going to use, and in this case these purple flowers, I needed to find a purple that went along with it, and I had fun filling in those extra blocks, and now my quilt top is complete. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.